Hey guys, welcome back to Top Floor. This week we have a very special guest. It is a VP of Sales of Cobalt Surfaces, Keith Lacignata, and as always, me and
Jake. You ready to hop into it? All right, so we're back with the beer. Keith, what are you sipping on today?
I'm actually not a beer guy because I'm much older than you guys. So I'm having to watch my figure a little. So I just drink Titos.
Hey.
Titos is the drink of champions. Titos and soda, gluten-free, sugar-free, carb-free.
Now, is that on the
That's my drink.
That's soda in there? That's all you're mixing it with? No lime, nothing?
I do use the LaCroix. So, I think I'm mixing it with a blackberry LaCroix today.
Ooh, okay. He's getting fancy on us. He's getting fancy.
Yeah.
Might have to switch over to that. The wedding's coming up in November, and my IPA gut from all these top floors that we've been doing starting to poke through a little bit. So, Connor, how about you? What are you sipping on?
So this is a first time drinker for me. This is Terrapin, Terrapin out of Athens, Georgia, a beer that they have called Luau. It is a passion fruit orange guava IPA. It is really light and refreshing, definitely a good summer beer, so definitely recommend.
I like the tulip glass too. Kind of outdoing me over there. I just got
Look at that, yeah.
Right.
So, all right. Well, for me, this motor oil that I am drinking is from Wicked Weed. So anybody in North Carolina is going to know Wicked Weed right off the bat. This is their chocolate-covered Black Angel. It's actually not from the standard Wicked Weed breweries, from Funkatorium, which is their spinoff that does all sour beers. This is a mouthful. Bourbon barrel-aged dark sour ale with chocolate and cherries. This is actually my first sip, so I'll tell you. Whew, it's got a lot there. So you can taste the chocolate. You can definitely taste the sour. Cherries are kind of in the back, but it's a good sour beer. Would expect nothing less from Funkatorium, and would highly recommend anybody that's going up there to give them a pop in, because they've got all kinds of crazy off the wall stuff like this too. So with that, boys, why don't we cheers it, and then we'll go over and talk about some products.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so moving on to the product section, we're going to shoot some questions over at Keith. And what challenges did you run into starting a brand from scratch?
Well, the first problem is choosing the right colors, right? You have all these different films to choose from when you're dealing with vinyl, and when you're narrowing it down, like for instance with Hush Core, we had 10 colors, Tangent 20, Katanga 20. It's what do we choose? And when we choose something, you don't want to pick a dog. So I think that was the first nerve-wracking thing, was trying to narrow down the colors. Katanga, that one was pretty nerve-wracking. Joey and I, we put this stuff together, and just going through all the colors and designs, and right now we're kind of getting smarter about it, right? So we're passing it around to you guys.
Yep.
So you guys could take it out to your designers.
Yep.
and getting their feedback, because we don't want to be the ones to blame, right? Saying, listen, these colors suck, so we want to pick winners. With that said, I think we've done a pretty decent job, and we've got some really nice stuff coming. So colors, definitely.
Just to clarify there, so you actually are going to designers and seeing the feedback of where the market's going to, and what new colors are getting popular when you go to expand or drop and change things?
100%. So what we're doing is we're trying to narrow down basically, where do we see this fitting? Is this going to be a multifamily driven product? Is this going to be a hospitality driven product, education, whatever it is? And then we will go to some of the Spartan sales guys and say, hey, listen, do me a favor. Get with a couple of your top multifamily designers.
Right.
And, I'm going to send you some samples, show these to them. And if they could rank them for us, have them rank them. We go through all of them, put all the rankings together. And from there, it gives us a really good idea of basically the color trends, what the designers are seeing out there today. And, whenever you get a designer involved in picking colors, it's kind of like they're taking ownership to the collection.
So let me ask you this: where do you see, from the feedback you've gotten, as Cobalt is starting to evolve and change, especially with Katanga, for multifamily, what colors do you see trend-wise that are coming back, going out?
Well, definitely the cherry, the red, the brownish red tones Haven't seen those spec'd. We haven't done any customs on those at all. Everything now is, from what I see, it's so varied. It's crazy. And I can't even narrow it down to a geography. I can't say, you know, beige is good on the East Coast, gray more in Chicago. It's different. So one day we'll get a run on, you know, Arctic and polar, that grayish beige color.
Yep.
Next thing I know, there's a spec coming through for macadamia, you know, straight beige. Next thing, bison, dark brown, out of nowhere. So I think it all depends on the designer, little bit of where it is being used, in what area of the U.S. and the market segment.
Not really as dominated as it was. I know when I started in flooring, like it was just gray. Like everything's gray.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
absolutely. I mean, I remember, like I said earlier, I'm much older than you guys, but I remember back in the day, whenever that is, it was always that walnut oak, that Brazilian cherry, the reddish, you know, burgundy colors. And I mean, that's right now, that's a thing of the past for the most part.
It's so weird to see how it moves. Well, that gives me a good segue since we're talking about the colors, because my question for you is going to be, you know, Cobalt has several different products, Hushcore, Petrus, Katanga, and Katanga has several different formats. Are there any that really stood out as you were getting established that helped you grab some market share that you thought were kind of, you know, unique to Cobalt?
100%. And I didn't get these questions beforehand, guys. So just so you know, I'm just winging this from the hip. All right. So yes, that's a good question. And Katanga still is my door opener. I know, Jake, you hold that line close to your heart, and Connor, it's taken off like a rocket ship for you. But you know, when you could bring a product to market that other manufacturers still have similar product, but you know, we have the relationship with the factory, our purchasing power, what we're buying this material for, extremely strong. And then when you go in with the 5mm with the attached pad, talk about the acoustics, the comfort underfoot, and all those attributes that it brings. That in itself is a definite door opener.
It is a bit unique too with you, right? That it is an integrated acoustical pad, so it's not really just slapped on the back. Even though there's great products that go that route, and it's not a click; it installs just like a glue down. So you get a lot of the easy installation and, you know, repair advantages that you have with standard glue down pressure sensitive products. But you get it all in one solid unit that just goes down like a regular glue down LVT would, right?
That's a great point. With Katanga, it's a legit 1mm IXPE pad that is fused to the back of the LVT. Yeah.
And I know that I think we did some testing a couple of years ago, because in the South, obviously the most popular multifamily construction is, you know, stick frame.
Wood joist.
We're in Charles Center wood with, you know, 3/4 gypcrete and plywood on the top and a drop ceiling. And if I recall, the Katanga, even the 4mm version, which is slightly thinner but has the same pad, actually met acoustical codes when tested on that just by itself. No acoustical underlayment or anything like that, right? Acoustimat.
100%. Just the product itself. I mean, it came back, and I want to say it was a 54. I want to say even 54 or 55 IIC.
Even higher.
Yeah, and that actually supersedes a LVT glued to a 2mm underlayment.
It's awesome.
It's actually higher than that as well. So yeah, it's got great value.
Yeah, I know Connor's was just telling me before this, he's had some great luck with it. I've had fantastic luck with it, and everybody that's used it's become, you know, big users because they're very confident. So that's cool.
So my last question for you, Keith, is give us an interesting story or experience that you have got to live due to Cobalt.
An interesting story.
We'll keep it PG rated.
PG.
PG-13.
Well, what's cool for me is when other people bring up the brand to you that you've never heard of. You know, I mean, I wish I could tell you a story like, because of Cobalt, you know, I met, you know, George Clooney and we went out for drinks. And no, it isn't anything like that, but not yet at least. But what I will tell you is, for instance, I just made a trip out west and visited one of our agents over there, and we got a call from one of their A&D firms who works specifically with this one very large nationwide developer. Mm-hmm. And literally out of nowhere, and I know this because the designer at the A&D firm told us that she had not specified Cobalt yet, which I wasn't too happy about, but at least she was honest, right? She was going to start doing it, but her developer, like I said, which is a very large nationwide developer, requested that we come in and talk to them about the Cobalt Katanga product. And I'm like, how in the world did they even find out about this? So, you know, my hat's off to all my boys at Spartan, boys and girls. I mean, best relationships in the industry. You know, my agents for spreading the word. But I mean, the brand's growing like a weed. And it's just awesome for me. You know, we all put this hard work in to building a brand, actually seeing it grow. And when people, you know, professional large developers asking for your product, that's pretty cool.
Now, in my experience, when I see stuff like that happening, it is, and I'm going to see if you agree with this, it's almost based solely off reputation, because they know that something's at the right price point, performs, and logistically they'll be able to get it. And for developers, that checks all the boxes.
100%, absolutely. I mean, obviously, something trickled down from somewhere to these folks, whether it was, you know, a partnering developer of theirs, maybe it was, you know, a client of theirs, who knows? But somehow they got word about the product, and, you know, when they come asking, we're going to definitely tell them the story and hook them up with a great product.
That's awesome. Connor, you got anything else?
All I got is I think George Clooney's actually a weekly listener of ours. So, George, if you're listening, Keith is interested in grabbing some drinks.
Big Dust Till Dawn fan over here. So, George, if the sequel's out, you let me know. I don't know if I have the looks for it, but I can work on it. Speed. So, all right, cool. Well, with that, we'll kick it over to the wrap up. That's going to be our show for this week. We definitely appreciate Keith giving us the time and kind of walking us through the line, telling us about some new Titos. I'm definitely going to keep the LaCroix in my back pocket as a mixer. Before we go, real quick, Keith, any sneak peeks, anything you want to tell us is coming up?
Yeah, we're hard at work here. We're going to be putting together definitely one new collection coming. I mean, I think I've heard it from quite a few Spartans about the one thing that's definitely needed are the non-woods, right? Oh, yeah. So we're definitely looking at a new collection. You know, the going back to Katanga, it's been so widely popular and successful, having kind of the VE right there for you, right? In case you need a VE or for multifamily. So we're looking at maybe doing a combo line again, you know, doing like 2 different constructions, but with the non-woods. We'll probably refresh 1 or 2 lines, take out some of the dogs that aren't moving and replace some of those colors. Just to give a shout out to the Cobalt adhesives. They've definitely taken off like a rocket. Yep. Great product to combine along with the LVT. And then lastly, we just made some minor changes on the website, but if you look now, we have a contact us tab, and under that tab, you could shoot us over a question, tell us how great our product is, if you like, or shoot us over a sample request. So we're getting sample requests right now, and you can do that right through the website.
George Clooney, if you're listening, that is the best way to get in touch with Keith quickly. So, no, excited to hear about that. I think the interchangeable aspect of colors available in different formats and to be able to VE yourself has been definitely one of the things I've seen everybody respond to super positive. So very cool to hear that. Well,
absolutely.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate it, Keith. Again, we'll cheers one more time and then head out.
Thanks, Keith.
All right, boys.